Welcome back, my faithful followers. I trust that you've been well. If you've been waiting to hear what happens next, hang tight. But first, what do you think is going through Diana's mind right now? She's been sucked through a funnel into the shadow world, met a Civil War soldier and a witch from Salem. What more can happen? Well, let's get down to it. Wills left me with Prudence, and I stood there in the middle of the shack looking around. It was a large room with a wood-burning stove in one corner, a small wooden table with four chairs across from a huge stone fireplace. She had a big chest next to her bed. I guess it was cozy. She touched me lightly on my back, and I almost jumped right out of my skin. At her touch, I felt my skin grow cold, just like when Wills held my hand. Since you're new here, I will do you a kindness and give you some advice. Lord Zoo is dangerous. His raids are always glitching, but he does get recruits. You probably got snatched by mistake, but to him it will be a success. If he finds you, he will use your tether to get to your world. There is no way to hide it, so you must stay hidden. Do as you're told, and we might be able to find a way to send you back home. I nodded at her, feeling mildly admonished. What did Wills mean by his eternal rest? Is he looking to die again? I'd been pondering this the whole time. Wills has never been happy being in the shadow world. He wants to end his existence here. Going on raids with Lord Zoo has left him with a strong dislike for it. When Lord Zoo goes on raids, he either snatches a person at the point of death or recently dead. The transformation from dead to undead is unsettling for some. I imagine that he would rather be dust in the ground somewhere than being a soldier in an undead army. Legend has it that Lord Zoo was a wizard who was banished here. He vowed to get his revenge and return to conquer all, she told me. Well, he sounds like a bad seed. How about you? Do you want eternal rest too? I asked. She shook her head. No, for now I am content with my existence here. Here I can continue to practice my craft, and I get to meet interesting people. When not on duty as kitchen help, I have privacy to do as I wish. Oh, you have a job too? What else do people do here? The shadow world is like the world you left behind. We have a town and people live in homes. They work and have friends. The only thing Lord Zoo insists on is that when he calls for an assembly, everyone must attend and the men must practice maneuvers. How soon do you think you and Wills can get me home? That depends on what he can find out about today's raid, Prudence replied. She grabbed a shawl and threw it across her shoulders. I must report to the kitchen now. Stay here and I will bring you back something to eat. Don't go outside for any reason. Don't try to open the door. I've warded it. Only Wills and I can open the door. What if I want to use the bathroom? I asked her, horrified that I'd have to stay until they come for me. She pointed to a door behind me on the other side of the room I hadn't noticed before. That's the water closet should you need to use it. There was a fire going in the fireplace and the shack was warm. Beside it was a stack of wood to feed the fire. I was glad that I still had my coat on when I got sucked through the funnel. I shrugged it off and placed it on the back of one of the chairs, and it did the strangest thing. I took it off, and it magically came back on me. I didn't think it was too strange since I was in another dimension. It's a shame that my backpack was left behind. Thinking about what I left behind made me think of my family. I imagine that they are worried about me. I wondered what the school will tell them about my disappearance. My mom will worry about my safety, while my dad will demand an investigation. Did I mention that my father was a lieutenant with the NYPD? Well, he is, and I've seen him in action. Heads will roll. My brother will probably continue to be Zane and not care. He was older than me and a freshman in college. I also wondered why I wasn't freaking out. This was some serious hoodoo. This was the stuff one saw in the movies. You know, someone gets sucked into an alternate universe, and they spend the entire storyline trying to find a way back, while fighting sinister characters trying to steal their life force. Tears started to roll down my cheeks, and I gave in and had a good cry. I'm not usually a wimp, but this was major, and I couldn't think of anything worse than this. After about 15 minutes or so, I pulled myself together and stopped crying. It was time for action, but first I needed to use the water closet. It was not a pleasant experience. Wow, when I get home, I'm going to hug the toilet. Prudence lived simply, like she probably did when she was alive. She said she'd bring something to eat, and I hope she doesn't forget. I was starving. I really should have had breakfast when I had the chance. And at lunch, I picked at my food because I'd been worrying about biology class. If this world is anything like I think it is, Prudence will probably bring me something like stew. On inspiration, I reached inside my pocket and pulled out my cell phone. A few minutes later, I put it back in my pocket. Well, it was a good idea anyway. It's dead and wouldn't even turn on. I suspected that would be the case. I mean, this is a world of dead people, so modern things like a phone wouldn't exist. I pulled back a chair and sat down at the table. I was glad I was sitting because I started to feel funny. My whole body felt tingly, and then I couldn't move my arms or legs. I couldn't keep my eyes open either. My last thought was that Prudence must have put a spell on me. "Prudence, she's awake," I heard Will say. I tried to sit up, but she pushed me back down. "Don't try to sit up yet. Tell us what happened." "You should know you cast a spell on me," I accused her. "I did no such thing. I came back and found you slumped over at the table. I couldn't wake you. Will's helped me put you to bed." "Sorry, I felt tingly all over and then paralyzed. After that, I must have blacked out," I replied. "It must be the physical world pulling on you. I've had a chance to think about you, and I believe that the reason you have a tether is because only a form of you is here. Your real body is still in the physical world," she said. "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means that you are in a coma in the physical world," Wills explained. I stared back at them in shock because I didn't know what to say. If I was in a coma back home, then they wouldn't be searching for me. I could be stuck here forever. This was worse than I thought. "Diana, can you move your arms and legs now?" asked Prudence. I nodded and showed them. This time Prudence allowed me to sit up. Wills helped me to the table where a covered plate sat waiting for me. Prudence lifted the cover to show me. Although the food was the black and white variety, it smelled heavenly. I sat down to eat stew. I looked up at them and smiled. "Thank you," I said between bites. Wills and Prudence moved away to talk in private, and I assumed that it was about my situation. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but it was clear that I was the subject. They kept stealing glances at me and gesturing. I sure hope they have some good news for me, because I really could use some. I finished my dinner and waited for them to finish their discussion. When they joined me at the table, Will's expression looked grim. "Well, have you figured out how to send me back home?" I asked them. "Not exactly. Lord Zoo and his alchemist were discussing the raid, and they feel that their calculations were correct. However, they couldn't explain the dead frog attached to a metal plate they pulled out of the funnel," he said. "That's my frog. We were dissecting it in class. I was holding it when the funnel snatched me. It must be why you're here. The funnel zeroes in on dead or recently dead. You were holding it, and the machine got you too," Wills explained. "Can he trace it back to me?" I asked, feeling afraid again. "No, I don't think so. He's never been able to bring animals through, so to be on the safe side, you must stay hidden. Your tether will give you away," he said. "So what am I allowed to do?" I asked, feeling frustrated. "Did you not understand what I just explained to you? Your tether will give you away, and the frog might be an indication that he's caught more than the frog," Wills warned me. He sounded just as frustrated as I felt. "Couldn't I hide it under my coat?" I asked. I tried to shove it under my coat, trying not to shiver as I did so. "Don't touch it," Prudence scolded me. "If you damage it, you might not be able to go back at all." I dropped it like it was hot. For such a small thing, it was very important. While I waited for them to come back, I examined it fully. It was no longer than 6 inches long and felt spongy. It glowed in the dark, and right now, it was the most important thing I owned. "So what's our next move?" I asked them. "For one thing, there is no next move where you're concerned. You must stay hidden and not play with your tether," Will said sternly. I was disappointed, but I still thought he was cute. "In the meantime, I will look into ways to return you with magic, if I can," Prudence said. "But I want to help too." I really did. I looked around the shack and thought I'd die of boredom if I didn't do something to distract me. "Look, Diana, there is really nothing you can do. The minute you step foot outside, someone is going to notice you and report to Lord Zoo. I understand your need to help, but it's too dangerous for you," Will said gently. I looked at them both and nodded. "Okay, but promise me that you'll tell me everything. Maybe if we put our heads together, we can figure it out." That's it for now. Please like and subscribe and drop a comment. Until next time, Stay curious and blessed.